you're saying, so there's like this shift towards like specialization almost in a sense, but then also like for you guys, like I suppose like how does that play out in terms of with you doing, let's say, multiple things for people? And I think particularly on like running media buying and creative, I know like creative is more for you, but it's kind of under the same umbrella with what you guys do. I think that's obviously just that's really like the lifeblood of an e-com business, at least in the marketing side, is like their like quality of their assets and their media buying in many respects.
Yeah.
But on that specificity, because you do multiple things, do you mean specificity in terms of like people going very deep on one service, or do you mean specificity on people going very deep on consultancy for brands? Like how has that evolved in the e-com industry? How would you forecast that to continue to evolve?
I think it's changed a lot in the last 24 months around everything from availability of funding, changing the goalposts for many e-com brands, changing it to being like profitable, sustainable, profitable growth, making like the intersection between like finance and marketing more important than ever, making sure that gone are the days of just raising loads of VC money and just spending into the abyss and just not really caring. So I think there's a big not caring, but like having that freedom to do so. So there's been a big shift there. I think like acquisition strategy, content, that used to just be able to be like laser targeting Facebook ads. Now it's a lot more around like messaging, positioning, pain points, objections, content, landing page, media buying, all in one big process. Ultimately, growth is a process, and like it's a process that you can apply in the main part to multiple businesses. It's just having the expertise and the ability to do that. So I think it's become more specialist and a little bit harder to do in that regard. But we've just gone deeper on it, like covering all of the things I've just mentioned and becoming specialists in all areas, so we can advise people across everything on how to like achieve that growth.
There, like when I was chatting to Connor, he was saying that in this year, now that we're in 2024, it's end of 2023 when we chatted, that like we'll kind of see that more so come to fruition of funding fully drying up for people almost, or at least feeling that way. So, I mean, would you see 2024 being quite a difficult year for e-commerce brands, like even compared to 2023?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to predict like macroeconomics and impacts, but yeah, like I think like ultimately that headwind has such a massive impact. And I think 2024 we're going to see that for a decent part of 2024. I maybe it'll sort of start to correct itself towards the end of the year. But yeah, I think like I think we've had the kind of days of massive VC money in e-commerce. I could be wrong, and that may come back in a couple of years. But if you look at like some of the businesses that have gone under over the last 12 to 18 months, like Thrasio, that raised shitloads of money, rolled up loads of Amazon companies and went bust after being valued at $1 billion. Multiple brands that IPO'd now being worth peanuts, or like relative peanuts to when they floated on the stock exchange. Loads of horror stories of brands that raised money at stupid valuations and then have been sold off. I just think those days have gone. They may come back, but I also think revenue-based financing, which was a massive thing over the last 18 months, is a model that's going to be a lot more challenging and not as available. I don't know about you, but I've not seen Wayflyer touted about by all the Twitter influencers recently, or any of the other ones that they were shelling pretty heavily through the middle of last year, early last year. So I think that's changed quite a lot as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was like you can kind of, it's funny, like you kind of tell like a lot of that, like I suppose like on the grapevine from Twitter, from like what's happening there. Just like you knew crypto had gone wallop when all the playboys went monk mode. You know what I mean? It's just like all the international playboys now monk mode. I'd say crypto's really fucking dead at that point. Obviously now it's coming back, you know. So if anyone wants to get into the Solana trenches, now would be the time to do so. But